Okay, bonjour. We're going to learn about a pronoun today. You've already learned about two pronouns this year, and so I think it's important that you go back and review what those are. Subject pronoun and direct object pronouns. So go back and look at your notes or pause the video and think, what was a subject pronoun? What was a direct object pronoun? And now I'm going to tell you. So a subject pronoun, remember, is a sentence starter. D'accord? You've got je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. Those all begin sentences. We conjugate verbs with them. So something like je peux, I can. Tu dois parler, you must speak. Il sait, he knows, etc. Those all begin sentences. They're called subject pronouns, not to be confused with object pronouns, which is the big thing that people struggle with. And some of you have done very nicely in your writing with, but these are like me, te, le, la, L apostrophe, ce, nous, vous, and les. D'accord? Those are your object pronouns, and they are the objects of verbs. They're what the verb acts upon, or the patient of the verb. D'accord? So when I say je t'aime, I love you, or je vous aime, the te in there, going right before the verb, that is an object. D'accord? If I say je le vois, I see it, that le right before voir, je le vois, that is, and these sentences are right up here, that is it. D'accord? Being acted upon, seen by me, I see it. D'accord? So the next one we're going to talk about is going to be pretty intuitive for a lot of you. You'll be like, oh, okay, I get that. And that's disjunctive pronouns. Before I describe what they are, the first thing you want to do is memorize them. D'accord? So fill in your chart. D'accord? And it's moi to say me, toi to say you, lui to say him or it, elle to say her or it, soi. Soi means oneself. It can also mean themselves or themselves. We're not going to use soi very much. Nous means us. Vous means y'all or you. Eux means them, and elle means them. So you may be thinking already, possibly, well, those mean the exact same thing as me, te, le, la, ce, nous, vous, and les. And you're right. They do mean the same thing, as in they translate the exact same way, which is very annoying, probably, for an English speaker learning French. But I promise you, these will be intuitive. You'll be like, oh, okay, so I just use it in this situation as opposed to this situation. Yeah. Before I describe, still, a way to remember this is to say it to a tune that some freshmen made up years ago, and that is moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, eux, elle. So that on the quiz, when you are filling in the chart, you can easily write, okay, what is it? Ah, yeah, moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, eux, elle, and write it right in. Cool? So I'm going to say it one more time. Pause the video, say it a few times to yourself to get it in your head. Moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, eux, elle. Not really a song, just a rhythm. All right, one more time. Moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, eux, elle. That's what you want to be able to come up with for a quiz. The most difficult one to remember is d'accord? E-U-X. And I think it's just because it's sounds weird to say because there's no consonants in it. And there's the X that you have to remember. Lui is the other one that people struggle to remember. Mais bon. Okay, let's talk about when you use a disjunctive pronoun. These activities are actually exactly what your quiz will look like. So moving all the way down, this is basically, I'm going through the activity itself. If you want to pause and do it ahead of time and then use me to go over it and listen after, that's fine. But I just want you to understand, I'm going to give you a little bit of a description at each. D'accord? So, when do you use these pronouns as opposed to me, te, etc.? Well, biggest one is in a sentence by themselves. If I say, qui aime des bonbons? Who loves candy? D'accord? You're not going to say, oh, me, or even je. You say moi. D'accord? So again, pretty intuitive. If you wanted to say, oh, they do, they like candy, them, you would say which is, again, sounds weird probably to you. All right, the next section, you use it after the verb être, or if you are using the expression il y a. D'accord? So if you want to say it's me, that's the verb être right there. C'est moi. D'accord? It's me. If you want to say it's now this is kind of weird. It's him who plays lacrosse, or this is kind of how we'd say he's the one who plays lacrosse, but it is he who plays lacrosse. Since it's after the verb être, you would say c'est lui qui joue au lacrosse. D'accord? Even though in English we say it is he, which corresponds to il, in French they say c'est lui. And that's because it's coming after the verb être. If it's ever after the verb être, use moi and lui. Don't use me, don't use je, don't use le, don't use il, etc. So you can do the other three on your own and then check them with me. Okay, number 3, it is they who like it. On your quiz, I will specify masculine or feminine, so I apologize that that's not there. This one could be ce sont eux qui l'aiment or ce sont elles qui l'aiment. Okay, you could have chosen either one. So I apologize for that first one that's off. I'll make sure to add those symbols later. If you want to say it's just him in the office, il y a juste lui dans le bureau. So after il y a, you're also choosing moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, elle again. So at the party, there's going to be them. We could use or elle there. Toi and moi. So again, after the expression il y a, this expression il y a is in the future, which is tricky. Il va y avoir, as opposed to il y a, there's going to be. Mais voilà. All right, next section to describe is when you want to specify the members of a plural subject pronoun. So that means nous, vous, il, and elle with s's. If you want to specify who exactly you're talking about, you'll use these. So as an example, if you say, nous allons au parc, we're going to the park. D'accord? The question might be, qui est nous? Who is we, right? So in French, if you want to specify that, who exactly is we that we're talking about, what you're going to do is separate with a comma and just say those people, d'accord, using these pronouns. So if you want to say my brother and me, mon frère et moi, comma, nous allons au parc. We're going to the park. D'accord? So let's do the first one together. It says, are you hungry, you and her? So if I just say, avez-vous faim? Are you hungry? And there's a group of people, you might be saying, who's you? Me and who else? So, toi and elle, toi et elle, avez-vous faim? D'accord? Say some of these out loud just to get yourself, when you say things out loud, it programs your mind. And it programs your muscles to get used to speaking it in a French way. So, toi et elle, avez-vous faim? You and she, have you hunger? D'accord? Or you and her, have you hunger? Bon, go ahead and do those two, and then you can check with me. All right, so it says, you and me, we can go out. This could be toi et moi, and again, I'll put the symbols that I put on your last quiz. So this could be vous et moi, nous pouvons sortir, if you're talking to multiple people. That'll be totally up to you in terms of which one you choose. So toi et moi, or vous et moi. Last one. My friends and me, mes amis et moi. Nous allons manger. It's good. Okay, after a preposition. So on the front, you'll notice that there are a lot of prepositions. And so I'd like you to go through and read them and maybe highlight the ones that are new to you, because on your quizzes, you're going to have to know the prepositions as well. So there's a lot of memorization that goes into this grammar point. Not a lot. It's honestly, you have the moi, toi, lui, elle, soi, nous, vous, elle already. So that's probably going to be very quick to memorize. But there's some of these prepositions that you'll have to memorize as well. Okay, so highlight the ones that you don't know. When you see avec on a quiz, you're going to be good. So not highlighting it. Comme, I've mentioned several times this year, but you may have to star it or put a squiggle. Mais voilà. I'm going to go through them just for pronunciation. So repeat after me. Sans, without, which is an English word. Ask your parents. Some of them may know, some of them may not. Our grâce à means thanks to. Notice it's grace, so it makes sense. You can see a little bit of an indirect cognate there. Repeat after me. Au lieu de, instead of. Selon, according to. À cause de, because of. À, to, at, or belonging to. De, from, of, or about. Chez, at the home of. Contre, against. Vers, towards. Avant, before. Sauf, except. Après, after. Que, than, and pour, for. So you'll have to memorize those as well. Okay, let's look at this activity. So you use these after prepositions. That's why it makes sense when you say, veux-tu venir avec moi? And that's why I say this will probably be very intuitive to you because you know that after a preposition, you're just used to that. You've done it before. So if you want to say, do you want to come with me? Veux-tu venir avec moi? Give you the easy one first. D'accord? So you can go ahead and do these like we've done in the other activities. If something is ambiguous, whether it should be toi or vous, you can choose, and I'll try and put them both if there's enough space. Okay? And then you can check with me in just a moment. So go ahead and pause your video and work through these. Okay, so I cannot live without you. Je ne peux pas vivre sans toi. Or maybe vous. Do you want to go to your house or my house? This one's tricky, so you may be listening to me and like, oh, what do I do here? Chez, remember, means at the house of. So, veux-tu aller chez toi? Could be chez vous. Or chez moi. Do you want to go chez toi ou chez moi? To the house of me or to the house of you? D'accord? So, when you see that on a quiz, you're going to see your house and my house. Don't write ta maison or ma maison, even though there's two blanks. Write chez toi and chez moi, because that's what we'll be quizzing on, is using these disjunctive pronouns and their prepositions. So, I like sports, just like him. J'aime les sports, bien comme lui. That belongs to them. This is another one that might be tricky. You would have had to go back and look at your notes. If you want to say belongs to, you use à, which means to, at, or belonging to. So c'est à eux, or you could say c'est à elle. D'accord? It is to them. It is at them. It is belonging to them. D'accord? One way to remember this, if you're going to struggle with it, is if you've seen the movie Finding Nemo, the seagulls, they go, mine, mine. In French, they go, à moi, meaning belonging to me, belonging to me. So voilà. All right. All of this, it's because of you. Oh no. It's c'est à cause de toi. Voilà. Okay. That one might be a little bit difficult to remember as well because you might think, oh, because I'm going to put parce que. Don't put parce que. Parce que means because. We want to say because of, and that's à cause de. It's different. All right, this is for you. Voilà, c'est pour toi. Or it could be c'est pour vous. This is for you. You can go instead of me. Tu peux aller au lieu de moi. And we have the expression in English I can never say it with the in lieu of, in lieu of. I don't know. Ask one of your parents how to say that because I always want to say it with a French accent. In lieu of, but I know that's not right. And yeah. Anyways, you are more serious than me. Tu es plus sérieuse. If you want to say than, it's que. Some of you might be like, wait, you told us que means what? Or, hey, you told us que means that. Que means what, that, and then. It means all of them. D'accord? So remember that. And then my friend is nicer than her. Mon ami est plus gentil qu'elle. And just notice that with que, you'll have to remember to contract it as well. So that's tricky. Okay. Next section, to emphasize your subject. This is another time that you can use it. In English, we can say, I don't know. I don't know. In French, you cannot say, je ne sais pas. French people just don't talk that way. They don't use their diaphragm in the same way. So if you want to emphasize the I and I don't know, you can add moi. So that's how a French person would do that. Je ne sais pas moi. And they say it just like that. Je ne sais pas moi. And the moi gets emphasized. It's easier to emphasize than je. Je ne sais pas moi. Bon, if I want to say, well, do you like this class? But you could say, eh ben, tu aimes ce cours? But if you really want to emphasize the you, to emphasize that maybe you don't like it or someone else doesn't like it, etc., or you've already given your opinion, you can say, eh ben, tu aimes ce cours, toi? You like this course, you, and that's how you'd emphasize it. Okay? If you want to say, he is annoying. Okay? If I just described something as annoying, oh, you think I'm annoying? No, he is annoying. No, il est pénible, lui. Okay? To emphasize that you're talking about him. Okay? Okay, you can also use it in a tag question if you want to say and you, like et toi, or and you in the formal et vous. I have people say in speakings all the time, et tu. Et tu is not it. Don't say it. It's et toi. D'accord? Et toi. So just be careful about that. Oh, and then him. All right, so you'll notice that there's a list over here you'll want to memorize. Et puis lui, and then him. All right, so she's going, and then him. Et puis lui. And neither me nor her. Ni is a fun one. Ni means neither, and nor. So ni moi, ni elle. Neither me nor her. Okay. So that's it. We've basically just done all the practice together. So you'll be only getting practice in your packet from here after that. C'est bon? All right. Merci beaucoup et au revoir.